possibly go wrong if you trust a goblin? Let's be real.
So tell
Nothing.
me what could go wrong.
Literally nothing. Always trust the goblins.
Always trust the goblin, huh?
Goblin we trust.
Always trust the goblins. Goblins fall under that whole Fey Pact area, so as long as like you make a proper deal, they will stick to the deal.
But do they stick to their own deals?
Oh yeah. It's all just usually they'll be a little bit wily, so you gotta be a little bit careful. But they're not usually like as aggressive as like like a devil would be.
Yeah, so they're not. But still, do they?
This is only applicable if you befriend the goblin. If you're not friends with that goblin, like just don't even bother.
So if you're friends with a goblin, might other goblins be friendly towards you, or is it just not a case by case basis?
It's usually a little bit tribal. So like the associated goblins will be friendly with you, but if there are unassociated goblins, you can make no promises. Alright.
Yes. Okay. So.
But you also need to make sure you shake on it. You gotta have your contract down. No finagly nonsense.
Yeah.
And make sure you pay them for their work.
Yes. Hi everybody, welcome back to Debate Hub. We are here and we are going to talk about volcanoes. There has been a lot going on, so there is going to be a lot to catch up on, but trigger warnings, there has been some tragedies going on, there has been fires going on, and we are going to talk about those fires. There are links below for where you can give financial support, or if there's any way that you can support. Those are linked in the description, as well as I'm going to make sure that they get linked in the live chat throughout the stream. So if you're interested in that, but we are going to jump into that a little bit, so just so you are aware, there is going to be some coverage. We're going to try not to get too into the sticky, unfortunate weeds of like how depressing this kind of stuff can be. So we are going to still try to be a little bit more lighthearted about it, but we do want to make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure that things and appropriate and proper information does get shared. So I think we want to... Maanyaa, what are you doing?
I'm wearing my comfy socks.
Maanyaa things.
I'm wearing my comfy socks.
Comfy socks are important when you're online. Because people can
Especially
tell.
for someone who slept at 2 a.m. in the morning and then woke up at 7. Yeah.
That's fair. I can't disagree with that. Like I can't give you crap for that, I guess. So we have two main links that I'm going to redirect you guys to. Actually, I guess I should share what they look like so you guys can see.
Are there?
We've got a couple. I'm just gonna pop them on open so I can show them. Yes. If it loads. I believe in it.
Do. We have professional goblins.
Yes. Naturally. Why are you being weird? There we go. Not that one, that one. What one didn't work? One of my links didn't work.
Uh-oh.
One of my links is stuck.
Everything's fine! Everything's fine, guys!
I think that just might be like the website might just be lagging a little bit. But that's okay.
Yeah.
So this is I'll just show you these ones for now. So we have the emergency fund for Maui fires. These are the amounts. It just says, on Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, a terrible combination of drought conditions and hurricane weather led to widespread wildfires across the island of Maui. Families were forced to evacuate on short notice, many escaping with only their clothes on their backs. Information on injuries and fatalities is still coming in. I don't know how to pronounce that, Landon. How do you pronounce this? Lahina?
You're talking about Lahana.
One more time? Lahania. Lahania town is gone. Many other places of Maui are also affected. We continue to send prayers to this incredible community. So if you do want to help out, this is one of the options. We have another one here as well, which is a GoFundMe. And this is the wildfires relief fundraisers. Been verified, yada yada. But I will link this as well.
Yeah.
So if GoFundMe is more your speed, that is that link there. And the one that is currently not loading for me is the Hawaii Community Foundation. I don't know why it's not loading for me, but I will provide that link as well in the chat. And it is also in the description down below.
Yeah.
So you can go and
These
find
are
that.
these are registered. Let's say registered 503 charities, and they have a reputation for helping people. So this first part is I don't want to just show you a bunch of disaster pictures. Having been in disasters and worked with people in disasters, often what they don't need is a bunch of gawking people to go and pull around the area. They tend to need more practical things, especially if they have nothing and they need to eat, drink. If they're diabetic, insulin. There's critical things that need to happen. And so we're going to show you some of the things here, but we're also going to play a couple of videos of actual people, and you'll hear in their voice some of the things, and then we'll talk about some of the other sort of personal connections. So as you know, in the thing, let me go and do a screen share. So we've had devastating fires in Maui. It's been in the news of widespread destruction. From a map point of view, here's the island of Maui. You look down
Mind
here.
zooming that in a little bit, Landon?
There we go.
Thank you.
So you see the big island down here. There actually were fires on the big island as well. There are certain parts, even though the Hawaiian Islands are in the tropics, there are parts where things are quite dry. And we had a situation where there was a major typhoon that did not hit the island. It was off the coast, but it had an effect of pulling moisture into the storm system. And as a result, you had dry winds heading towards the low pressure zone, combined with with the fact that they've had some areas that are quite dry, plus and this is more speculation. There's lightning is not unheard of in Hawaii Island. In fact, they frequently get lightning. So between that and potentially power lines arcing and other sort of stuff, the fire started. Oh, wow. And we see
routes are incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, we see here. If you see this thing down here, this is 10 kilometers inside. We see these sort of fire areas. Some of them are contained, some of them are partially contained. There were also fires on the Big Island as well. It tends to be more sparse in the region. And people that visit Maui come into the airport, and then Lahana is a very common tourist area in here. Just give sort of context of stuff. Yeah. And it's typical with the islands, there's sort of oftentimes sort of one road in and out because the rest of the stuff is really quite impassable in some of the old volcanic stuff. There certainly were a lot of things. So if you look at the image here, of there, this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like after the fire. So we see that there is there are homes and so forth This again is just one section, and there are now basically building paths. We look down towards the ocean here. This was, and I'll talk about some of these trees, so forth here. Areas around the waterfront, and we see now essentially that there is pretty big devastation. Again, in the region here, from what it looked like to now, basically in areas here where you just have pretty much complete devastation in that region. And even the waterfront there, they had the fire came down to the ocean, driven by winds that were in sustained winds of 100 kilometers an hour, so over 60 miles an hour.
Wow. Okay.
Plus dry conditions and fire. And the fire raced down quite there. In fact, there were, as I say, there were situations where essentially the boats couldn't even get out of the harbor, and were burnt to the ground even in the harbor. The flames were that intense. As I mentioned, there were a couple of fires. There are a couple of fires in the Big Island as well. Those are some of those areas up in Kuala region, up in this neck of the woods. Let me zoom in here, get a better spot. This neck of the woods in the Big Island of Hawaii. This is the sort of the relative stuff you see. People might have heard of Honolulu. We've talked a lot about Kilauea, but these fires here in the Kuala region, some of this is very remote areas. We still are not quite sure as to what happened. You see these boat harbors, right? And this set of boats here, they're sunk, right? Basically, you don't see some of the boats here, but trust me, these are boats already burned to the ground. Now, they brought in some new boats into the area to try to bring in supplies. So the newer boats are ones that came in afterwards. And there's a lot of historic things of this town. The sugarcane trade, so forth, this is a very, very famous place here, and essentially the sugarcane train, train buffs, as a train museum. Some of the stuff that was narrow gauge that were bringing the sugarcane around was quite there. This is the mayor of Maui. Maui has counties. Each island or island group is a county, and so their island late guy is the mayor. Who's the mayor? They're walking in through the set here.
What's his name?
Mayor
of Maui. Hold on, I can find it. It's Googleable, I guess. Richard Bisson.
And there.
Richard Bisson Jr.
Yes. Yeah. Bisson. And there were areas again like this was a really nice waterfront area, shops. It had really great farmers market. If you wanted to go in and get real bananas, not those things that they sell in your grocery store, but real bananas, real papayas,
small ones,
real blah blah blah, coconuts. Oh yeah, and all the things that are juicy that you pour out of stuff, and the coconuts you can take
real food
and drink them. Yes.
Yeah.
Was there, and there were people at farmers market down there that was actually quite nice area, and there were shops and things like that, and you could tell this thing that there were cases where essentially your vehicles trying to get through this area to get out of the area, and the vehicles just couldn't even drive out, and regions there of stuff you can see in this region here that a lot of when you see structures are this structure has been pretty devastated, even though it's standing, where other places are pretty much down. And again, you find situations where there were car fires, where people eventually had to abandon. They couldn't drive out.
How many of them were Teslas?
Had to abandon. I don't know. I don't
think so. Maui has Teslas. It's been untouched by Elon so far. Please.
But that was some of the stuff, and it was kind of confusion as to where to go, right? As to which direction to go. One of the problems that occurred in this region, and this is like a general problem, is that there's been a over reliance on cell phone and cellular tower technology. It's difficult to get cellular signals in there anyway, but the fires, take out cell towers, and they don't provide emergency services. So people didn't have the information as to where to go, and some people going this way, some people going that way.
That's not good.
Let's see, a number of them basically abandoned their cars and went into the ocean, and the Coast Guard was picking and fishing people were picking up folks. Trying to encourage them sometimes to abandon their cars and come into the ocean. You can see in a shopping district, right? These are people that got trapped, and hopefully they went to the water rather than try to tough it out. McLiquid had a restaurant in this area. It was a very nice place. It is gone. I know that he was not there, but the people running the restaurant in the early mornings that get the fishing boats come up to the dock, and they basically buy fish, and those people are coming up and essentially taking the restaurant workers and people in the area onto the boats out into the water. Right? They were essentially
that's
to
really
the point where they could short of the captain saying we can't take any more because we'll sink, to get out of the area. But there was a point where they couldn't come back into the area to rescue people, and basically said swim out because the Coast Guard was trying to pick people up in that area.
Almost sounds similar to what happened at the White Island in New Zealand, where once you get out of there, you can't go back in to rescue more people. So you gotta rescue as many as possible in the first go, and for that you gotta have the emergency facilities or the boats for that, right? And to coordinate, to have those radios, that are connected to towers outside the island, so that there can be communication, or satellite radios, those would have been handy in that time of need.
There's a reason why I still have a satellite phone I keep, and I test it on a regular basis, and when I'm going to remote areas, I take it with me, because
old school stereo
cell services, even where you think you have a regular reliable cell service, under stress, let alone under fire, the cell system breaks down. And that was one of the problems I think that they had, was that they not being able to get the message to people. But anyway, but those are things there. So we're going to I'm going to stop screen sharing, and we're going to listen to a couple of people talk about the fires, talk about some stuff. So again, don't worry, there's no dead bodies, but you will hear the emotion of real people under real circumstances.
Yes. Where would you like me to start, Landon? ABC News?
It just in the order I give you, would be just fine.
Yep. All right. So this is residents talk about what he witnessed as fires ravaged a historic town.
And I want you to hear the people in their own words.
This is the one you want, yeah?
Sure, there's several, but that could be the one. Yeah.
He was just one of many others who came face to face with those flames and were fortunate enough to escape with their lives. Joining me now, a resident of Lahaina, Leif Wright. He evacuated to Kihei. It's a town about 40 miles south. Leif, first of all, I understand that you lost your home. Our hearts are with you. Tell us what happened.
Dealing with high windstorms. Went to work that day. Went back home around 1. Mango tree fell in the yard from the winds. Limbs were breaking. Sheet metal was flying everywhere. And then started smelling smoke. Went outside, checked, didn't see much. Smelled it again a few minutes later. Entire neighborhood was covered in smoke. 4 of us decided to get out of there and check on some friends. When we checked on some friends, we saw their neighbor's house was on fire. So we turned around to leave, decided we were going to go get our friend's cat. That's the video showing right there. That was us going to get the cat. Had to sneak over there to get it because it was all blocked. Got the cat, and all that gray smoke went from being gray smoke to black smoke and just everywhere. And people were, walking. This lady was walking out of just this smoke with black soot all over her, no shoes, dogs trailing behind her, running around whenever, people cutting people off. We got about, 3 minutes. We drove about 3-4 minutes, looked behind us, and everything was just covered with smoke. You just knew everything was just gone. And then we got a notification telling us to evacuate.
Why don't you tell me then what your plan is then? How are you going to continue to help search? I know there are a lot of people that are still missing. So how are you jumping into, I guess, this effort to still try and help your neighbors and even people you don't even know?
I'm just going to give it a quick pause there so we can kind of talk a little bit about what we saw. You could see like it escalated so fast in the videos here. And one of the things that he mentioned is high winds. And like that is a massive, massive issue because those winds aren't just going to be like your average, oh, it's kind of windy out. No, they're going to be, it's blowing stuff around, it's blowing soot around, it's going to be hot wind. It is not like, oh, your average windy day.
And because of the soot present, it will be very difficult to breathe. So,
yes.
So it will become extremely difficult to breathe. So, yeah, and like...
Yes, go ahead.
And like Shesh said, these situations escalate within seconds. You cannot wait. You cannot wait. That's why always be ready. If have a brief or brief plan on how am I going to, what am I going to do, what I'm going to grab when I get out of somewhere. Are you going to grab something when you get out of there? For example, they went back for the cat, right?
Yeah.
Or for the animals. People love their animals, so make sure that you grab them when you're getting the first day of. You can grab them on the first attempt out. So all those things matter. But yeah, these things escalate very quickly, and don't underestimate. Don't underestimate them. No.
Search. I know there are a lot of people that are still missing. So how are you jumping into, I guess, this effort to still try and help your neighbors and even people you don't even know?
This guy's so over it.
I mean, that's gonna take some thinking. I don't know where the roadblocks are. I don't know where the fire is exactly.
What do you expect me to do, lady?
But gotta find our friends and family, or at least hear from them. I got lucky enough to hear from my buddy C-Mac. A friend randomly bumped into his girlfriend that hiked into Lahaina town through the beaches to get in, and they saw each other, and their house is gone, and unfortunately him and his gal Sierra, they're gonna have to leave and go back, and I mean there's a lot of people that are out a lot more than me. I mean I don't even know what the body count's going to be, and I'm very scared to hear, but I'm really nervous. A lot of friends are missing. A lot of friends are missing.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next one.
Yep.
The uncertainty of not knowing whether your loved ones are still there or not. It's it crushes you.
That's the one thing I wanted to hold on to forever. And now he's just in the ground with all the other ashes, and that one's probably the toughest.
Losing your dad's ashes?
Yeah. That was my only prized possession. That was it. All the other stuff didn't mean anything. But those ashes, I came to that conclusion last night that I lost those, and that one was a...
If I pause just a moment, there are, in Hawaiian communities, there are things about, ashes of the dead, different traditions, but one of the traditions
culturally,
is to honor ancestors, of honoring the ashes. So, continue.
Yeah, it's the same with us also. We burn our people who have passed away, and then we submit the ashes to the rivers. So yeah, kind of very similar. Yeah.
Still is tough. But we're alive. But I don't know what we're going to do. I have no idea. I just want to go get my dog's ashes. I want to get their bodies, and that's it. That's all I want. We have a safe, and if we can get that, we can get that. But I just want to get my dog's ashes.
How grateful are you that your youngest daughter, made it out? I mean, she was in the area.
Oh. She was on the highway watching everything burn, and we said, get out of there. Turn around, get out of there. Either get close to the water so you can jump in, which obviously people did, and that was their last options. And they still didn't make it.
Yeah, because that's what I told her.
There's cars lined up against Front Street where they just left their cars and jumped in the water.
We know two people that did that. One they just found yesterday. Luckily, she was alive, but she did the same thing. Lahaina is all wooden structures, yeah? So Front Street's all wooden structures. And we haven't had rain since like May. And so as you can see, everything's dry. And so it just went up. And when the winds blew, it just blew everything. But to answer your question, I'm beyond grateful that our daughter, listened to us, because that was our advice. I said, get towards the water and get in the water. She's a surfer. I was like, get in the water. At least you can do that. At least you know that you can tread and you can go ahead and do it. But yeah,
she listened and turned around and got out of there.
She's in Wailuku, so she's with a family friend.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Some people jumped into the ocean to save themselves. This man doing just that after battling flames for 3 hours.
And I ran to the ocean and I gave in. Everything gone.
Emergency doctor Reza Dinesh rushing into the historic town of Lahaina with his mobile clinic to treat burn patients.
It literally felt like an atomic bomb went off and survivors were coming out.
Aerial footage showing what's left of Lahaina, the one-time capital of the Hawaiian kingdom that has deep cultural roots, much of it now gone.
People lost everything, homes, jobs, their cars, some their pets. There's still people missing. I've fought wildfires in California. I've never seen something ravaged so fast.
Many homes and businesses reduced to rubble, burned out hulls of boats washed up onto the shore.
We have a scar on the face of Maui that will be here for a very long time.
President Biden issuing a disaster declaration for Hawaii.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately.
While weather conditions have improved across West.
Okay, we're going to go to the next one.
Yep.
Lived on Maui for about 20 years now. I own a business called Whaler's Locker. It's an old family business on Front Street in Lahaina. It was established in 1971.
So we're at the point. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. We're at the point where people are starting to be able to go back onto the island and start assessing the damage and find out what's going on, what's survived, what hasn't survived.
So it started getting worse. Power lines down, and then started to see smoke. And there was smoke everywhere, but it was getting thicker. And cars burned, and apartment complexes burned. And the further we got onto Front Street, the more devastating it was. Just everything leveled, but not just Front Street, it's everywhere. Looking up the hillside, all the homes are gone, all the buildings are gutted. It looks like a war zone, like from just total destruction.
Oh boy.
To our knowledge, 3 folks who didn't make it. And some, animals, people's pets, things like that. It was really heartbreaking. So there was fire flare-ups happening around the neighborhoods because there was still a lot of fuel and a lot of live fire around the area when we were walking through it. So the smoke was getting stronger, but lots of chemical smell, diesel smell, especially down by the boat ramp. A lot of diesel was spilled in the harbor, and then just like a noxious chemical smoke smell. Over the course of the walk, maybe about a dozen people also walking around. One gentleman we walked past was sitting in a lawn chair on the sidewalk across from where his house was, and just sitting there, looking at the remains and nothing left. All he had was the lawn chair he was sitting on, really, and like a small backpack. Lahaina is such a special place, and not just for the people that live there, but for so many people that sorry, I'm holding it together, but I'm on the edge. For the community and for all of the islands and for so many visitors that come see us every year, it's the historic significance and just the memories there. If anything's going to happen anywhere, I'd want to be living here for it, because the people are such a tight community and all look out for each other.
Okay.
Okay, so Haley, what happened to your home and what happened last night?
I think that's the hardest part, is nobody knows. You know, you're just in the dark. There's no service. There's nobody coming and telling you what is happening. You're just in the dark. And it was just, our house just got covered in black dust and we just had to get out. And it was so fast. And from there, we just made sure all our family was okay. Driving around, just trying to get out of Lahaina was really hard. And you just...
Hearing the stories that Lahaina is gone, I mean, they said
dust.
From ocean to a certain area where we all live is gone. So, I mean, we don't know really if it's our house or whatever it is, but we know for sure family's house is gone.
Yeah.
Hey, and I think we have one more of this gentleman.
Yep.
We've been pulling people out since last night.
Hundreds of homes and buildings lives. On Maui are gone,
and I feel like
with
we're not
55 people now confirmed.
You know?
Sorry.
And I feel like we're not getting the help we need. You know? Oh my God. This is a nationwide issue at this point. Yeah, we need help. A lot of help. We gotta get people down here. You know, it's a short road, Front Street. If you guys walk down the street, you see it's completely burnt. And we just, if I saw somebody, I helped them. I felt like these guys wasn't going to get help because I seen so much people walking, and that's what we do in Lahaina. We don't leave people behind, you know? That's just how we roll.
All right. So, I can go back there. So I can, I wanted you to hear the voices of the people in it was in Lahaina region, but it was also frustration in terms of not being able to know what to do. It developed so quickly, and the other thing is that the cell systems are not good in disasters, right? In fact, one of the things I think that's coming in is basically people bringing in communication trucks to begin to try and find people and to communicate, as well as to get supplies in. And you have real people like this. This is a family that I met, I believe, at the farmers market, and this is basically all they have, and they're just there, and they need kindness of strangers to go and give them just basic stuff, like something to sleep on,
toiletries,
something to get out of the rain, toiletries, some water, some basic food, those sorts of things, and that's one of the items there for that.
One of the things that I noticed is like with the looking at the pictures going through is that these places are empty. This is not like a matter of these buildings are condemned, but you might be able to find shelter in. The roofs are collapsed. There's no walls. Like these people are going to be starting from more like literal scratch. Because they're going to have to pull all those buildings down.
Yeah, and also...
Go Good.
Make sure the land is sustainable too for development, rebuilding again.
Yeah.
That's
gonna be a long process.
And it was it was noticeable that during this whole time you kind of realized there was no way for anyone to find any sort of shelter except the beach. There was nowhere else to go, and then that was really heartbreaking. And and I'm just thinking on the lines of that. I think so. One of the ladies who they were interviewing mentioned that they didn't have rain since May, and everything was dry as. Maybe they need to start coming up with a plan to make dampening things, because I think just some villages in some other countries do that because of how their structures are made of from old, grass materials. So they might have to come up with a program like that. So at least if something like this is feasible in future, the buildings don't catch on fire and make the buildings obviously fire resistant. So I don't know what the protocols are or the regulations are there for the buildings to be fire resistant. They might have to evolve those also in the future.
And so the charities that are there are taking funds to buy basic fundamental supplies for people that need stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
And also bringing communication trucks to find things. So this is something that is a critical need right now. All these people that did survive, having something that is just be able to basic cooks, right? Even things like soup that's been canned that's ready to eat, but even something like a spoon is something. That family had one spoon that they shared amongst each other and eating things until somebody came along and gave them some more plastic spoons. So that's a process. There's a really sad thing. This is an area that I was in. There is this historic banyan tree. It was a gift from India.
You zoom in a little bit, Landon?
It was a gift given to the Lahaina courthouse in 1873. The size of this tree grew up to be about almost 1 hectare in size. It is a place for gathering. It's a bait central trunk, but it has now over 60, over 20 meters in height. It had something like 46 tree trunks. Banyan trees have tendrils that go down and it's a single tree that basically has all these other spots that are there. And this 46 trees. It was a big tradition in this area. There's this large tree area here, and there were lots of festivals under here. There were and other ceremonies were done in this area. It's a gathering place. It's not. It was only eight. This only when it came from India. It was only they said it was only a little more than 2 meters tall when it came from India in there, and was a very, very wonderful landmark. Now the tree itself, it's while it's still standing, it's possible that a lot of the parts of the structures of things are gone. The root system is still there, and hope is that it'll be there. I have a group of people who are called me part of their ohana, their extended family. And the family was had a grandmother who had a long battle with leukemia and had died, and they were coming to this area, to this tree area, to have sort of an honoring ceremony with the children and grandchildren coming there. The family was in the area that they came shortly before the fire started, and they were going to come to this area here to have this celebration. I don't know what day, but we just don't know where they are. We don't have any word from them.
This tree was like almost 150-year old. Yeah, it's seen a lot.
And so they were going to come here and to have a celebration to honor her, and we don't know. So you see, the death toll is of known people that have died, but there is still several thousand people that are missing. And now hopefully they're alive. Hopefully, with communications, get more conveyed. They'll find people. The Coast Guard has been trying to people that they rescued. Were there, let's say, surfers were coming in with surfboards, grabbing kids, putting them on the surfboards, and taking them out. Right, and it had to go. And it was not a case of you just get into the water where the ocean's wrapping up. As you saw in the harbor, even the boats that were relatively far from the harbor were burnt to the ground. You had to go out fairly far.
The ocean isn't exactly the safest place, especially in high winds as well.
Yes, yeah. and so we don't know what I don't know what happened to the Ohana family. Hopefully they're okay, but it's sort of like just a loss, a double loss. So I wanted to give you. I realize that this is not the most happy things, but I wanted to give you sort of a personal touch about this sort of thing. And like I said, there are these charities that are right now buying supplies for people just to be able to survive, and trying to get in contact, and we'll see where things go from there.
It's one of those things where it's like, we would be, with the amount that we talk about Hawaii, it would be remiss of us to not try to show some kind of solidarity and support for the people there. There is something that I did see, and it was a article essentially talking about people who are coming to visit, like people who are who have booked their tickets, or people who are still planning trips to Hawaii, either for the end of summer or into the Christmas holidays, because people like to travel for then. Don't go is basically what they're asking for. Do not go, and instead of spending your money on the trip to fly out there, instead send that money to one of these donations. So if you're planning on going, now is not a good time to go, and perhaps make that Christmas gift a gift of survival in this case.
So even if the area you're going to, go ahead.
Just like if there are any like nonprofit organizations out there, if they can make their presence known there as soon as possible, with, like Jess said, basic supplies, that would be great.
Even if you're planning on going to another part of the island, you want to respect and honor people who are going through current disaster. Your best bet is to not go to the island at all, and send them whatever you can from where you are at.
Yeah. So one of the things that is happening is that people that had to evacuate have to go someplace, and so there are these beachfront homes. There are these timeshare stuff that are full of people trying to survive, and even if you're going to a place on Maui that is again, we're talking about Maui is the area that is there. The accommodations and so forth are essentially in use and needed by people that are in desperate situations. So that's a thing, I guess, is to consider. So these other things I look, they're registered charities or 503 tax things. If that's a tax thing, you can dig it. But there also are groups that have a reputation for getting supplies in to people in critical need. We're not talking about people with $1 million homes that need them rebuilt. We're talking about people just being able to have a bottle of water in a dry situation, and diapers for their kids, and a covering for the wind, just essentially basic supplies. And you saw the gentleman, the last gentleman, who they're very social. I mean, he understand, and the sad thing is, I recognize some of the area he was walking in. He lost his house, but he's doing what? He's going around finding people that need help and bringing them to the shelter, bringing stuff in there. You saw that many of the trees are down, so the only way you can get in is by hiking and walking. And so this is that sort of island spirit of taking care of Ohana, taking care of people. And he said, it doesn't matter if I'm related or not, they're all part of the extended family. And you saw essentially he's there just doing what he can. And some of that can be just in terms of personal touch. So the picture, the picture itself is talking about this thing here. These people here were brought supplies in by this, people that had a truck with stuff, and so they basically unloaded supplies and said here. And then what was this family doing? They were bringing other people over, saying, "Hey, we have some stuff now. Let's share it with you."
Right.
Literally, again, this family, this is what they have. What they escaped with. They got supplies from somebody who came in with just raw supplies of things you can, crackers, things you could eat right now, and water and so forth. And this family turned around, and other families come over saying, we have stuff, come over and share it with us. That's the island spirit. So,
we should take a quick break, and come back so we can switch our topics over to the volcano in the area.
Yes. Yep.
We'll switch us on over, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. See you soon. And we have returned. I don't know what happened to Maanyaa, but I'm pretty sure she fell in her toilet while we were going. You're muted. You're both muted. What are you guys doing?
I fell in my coffee cup, man.
I'm sorry, I forgot I was muted.
Thank you everybody so much for joining us today. I know we had a really heavy first half. We're gonna go our volcano updates next, so hopefully that was a long enough break for everybody to reset. We know it's very, very devastating. If you can help, thank you so much. And if you can like and share and all that good shit, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's not really important. What's important is that people know what's going on and know how they can help. The channel is whatever. So.
Yeah, and you know, in a positive note, there, you know, the island spirit is certainly, volcanoes are an important part of the island spirit. And as I've seen, one of the beautiful things I've seen about that society is that people who survive devastations are seen in a place of honor, right? That it is sort of seen that their ability to escape a volcanic flow or fire and so forth, you know, it sort of culturally is like, this is a person who is in favor, and that there will be families who will vie to say, come and stay at our place while you're rebuilding for that thing. That's part of that spirit that is there. And so you saw again, and I know you saw a family who had really nothing being given supplies of a truck, and the first thing they're doing was finding other people to say, "Hey, come over and share."
Yeah,
that's what's a beautiful thing about it.
Community.
So this is part of when we talk about the volcanic systems. It's part of the culture. It's part of the heritage. That's quite beautiful. So, Madam Pele. There's killer volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii. Maui's the next one, the island next door. But Kilauea is not erupting. The sulfur dioxide is at 121 tons per day, which essentially is just outgassing from the
normal average
lava stuff that's there. Pretty little.
So what did Maanyaa? What did we say last time?
Yes.
I bring out my oracle. So bring forth my oracle to read the past and the future. Okay. So Shesh had said, no booms, little movement, gradually going to increase.
I was wrong.
Something about skylights. I don't know what that was. I just noted the word. Landon.
Oh, skylights are where you have where there's holes that fall in where you can see liquid stuff down below.
Oh, yeah.
Landon said, "We'll not see lava on surface, but we will see earthquakes and deflation, inflation." Was that?
Okay.
No, that didn't. Yeah.
And we'll
I
see,
said,
we'll see.
You made a longer term guess with it's the deflation part. So we're gonna find out next month if Landon was right.
So Landon actually said, "I'm going to be surprised if there are no earthquakes." So yeah, and I said very low levels of gas, and will stay as it is.
So I remember the time when we had our last thing. There actually were very little in the way of earthquakes. So we'll see how it happens. Well, let's look at deflation, inflation. Right, this is the tilt meters. Or 1 microradian is a 1 kilometer bar that moves up 1 millimeter. That's the thickness of a dime if you're metrically challenged. And a kilometer is just long.
Kilometer is just long. I need that on a shirt. A kilometer is just long.
But we see
are for metrically challenged or not for the metrically. Oh no, feet is for metrically challenged. That's what you say, right?
How many deer?
Metrically
like head to toe.
So we see that if you look over day period, there's not much in the way of deflation, inflation stuff. I mean, it's a little bit of wiggles there. There's an upward trend.
Am I looking at something?
We can't see what you're looking at.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to screen sharing. You'd think we'd get. Okay, so back to what we're talking about.
We'll figure it out one day.
105 tons per day. So not much. If we look at the tilt meter stuff, I mean, it is. Remember, 1 microradian is 1 millimeter on a kilometer bar. It's
increasing.
Tilting, but there's
tilt meter is tilting.
There's not a deflation inflation thing. It's just,
wait, can you scroll up again real quick? I just want to see that top tilt meter again. Okay, that is basically the tilt meter is tilting like a League of Legends player. They're at a 45-degree angle. Okay, go on.
Like
I just wanted to make my joke.
There's a little jump there, with stuff. Pretty smooth. If you look over the month, right? There were a couple of things that you might say that's kind of a DI event there, but kind of weak.
Yeah.
If this was your ECG, you'd be in trouble.
It is still a gradual increase.
Yeah, it's gone up.
It's still going up
quite a bit. The tilting going up there, so it's tilting, but not.
Does that mean I was right?
Not. Well, it was tilting, but not. But there's no DIs. These are not really much in the way of DI. That might have been a DI event there too, but over a course of a month, not much.
I think that means technically Maanyaa is right so far because that is the same. It's the same trend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm closest to what's happening right now. You can say it that way.
And saying no DI events was something also. I think I said that was incorrect. The expansion of the mountain continues, right?
Yep.
This is where it's that most of these eruptions started and stopped here. Another one here. If you look at the longer term, this was we were now in the 5-year thing. The end of the great 35.5-year eruption is now off the chart, and we have 1, 2, 3 eruptions here. So we're seeing this
like it's increasing.
Yeah, the mountain is expanding
quite steeply, actually.
Over that period of time. So one might think that this expansion is also the steady expansion is causing the mountain to change and tilt. So probably this expansion is coinciding with this general upward trend. But it's not. You don't have the rhythmic deflation inflation stuff. You don't have necessarily a magma chamber turnover. There's just upward pressure going. If you look at the reference map, here's a thing, and we're going to scale in here. Essentially, there's no lava. This is of course the
Gilligan's Island pit is gone,
and those islands are essentially gone. That bit was on the side Captain. Is now inactive. If you look at so the area of this spot is did expand. Here's this particular the dashed line was where it was as of March 2023 before the new eruption occurred and filled in these areas.
Yep.
So we look at the crater floor. We're now at 9-10 meters above sea level. It rose 11 meters in that last eruption. So all this new stuff was 11 meter after the. Yeah, I know it was up more, but the lava cooled and kind of compressed. So we're at a 4.5 billion gallon thing at 152 hectares. So this is a cross section. This is a useful cross section to look at. So here is the extent of the pit, of the Holy Mile pit, right, with the drop-down block. And we had at one time when the 2018 eruption, 35-year eruption ended and the mountain collapsed, this was the extent of the pit. And then it filled in with water up to here, water lake. And that was boiled away, and it had a first eruption, went to this purple line, and into this line, and this line, and this line, right? This yellow line was what the area was like before it collapsed. So you talk about
we're
when
reaching near
will
that.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, we're reaching near that level again. I think so soon in a couple of years.
So as it expands, it's got to get more and more volume. So it doesn't. It looks like it's slowing down, but remember, it's getting wider and wider. So as it goes up, it's got to get more and more stuff out there.
Right.
This bump was Gilligan's Island here, and that's sort of been covered over.
Yeah.
Now that bump was. So this drop down block here is this area here, right? So the next phase of rising is going to start flooding this area. So it's going to get harder and harder for it to go up because now it's got to put all this spot here, not just in the pit. If you look at what will it take to spill out into the larger caldera up here, that's this section up here, and we can see that it's got to go up almost 200 meters before it begins to get into the lower part of this area. To get into this area here, this thing's got to rise 200 meters, and this volume here is significant. This is it's going to have to be a fairly wide area. Also remember that we have this spine right here. Is the one spine going this way along these craters down this area, and the other spine goes this way. See all these cracks heading that way that go down to here. At some point, this lava lake magma chamber is going to reach the levels where it can start flowing downhill. We're at nearly a kilometer up, and magma and lava would like to go down. And so it's possible that at some stage when it starts to get into this area, it might melt its way into the tubes, right? Obviously, the tube summit collapsed when the summit collapsed. So we don't know how easy it will be for it to get down the spine. But that's a thing. Remember also, normally this would have been, the caldera would have been somewhat smooth.
Yep.
And what we would see here would have been a magma chamber underneath the caldera with occasional stuff coming out, right? And melting is going to the southwest or to the southeast this way, right? Melting in this area. So this would have been covered over. We are seeing the top of what a magma chamber would normally do. And right now, this magma chamber is not turning over, they're not cycling. Because why? Because tilt meters are basically showing us. This gives you sort of the side perspective of just how much material has come in. This almost 16 million cubic meters, 4.2 billion gallons, and that's a fair amount, right? Of material, lava that comes into play. And I guess in terms of if that's in gallons, remember there's 8 pints to a gallon. That is actually 3,600 megapints.
The classic megapint. I have a side question for you guys. Have you guys heard about Netflix doing a docu-series about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial?
Holy shit.
No.
Yeah, apparently that's gonna be a thing that I'm gonna have to get really drunk and watch.
Yes.
Who has the rights?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I also am going to be looking for to see if somebody whoever does the docuseries does the measurement for a megapint.
Yes, we need that. We need a channel or
and which writers are they going to get?
None.
To write for this.
They're gonna get ChatGPT's gonna write it using using Christopher Boozy's shitty Twitter bot.
I'm just wondering, is it going to be the same one? Will it end up to be as shitty as the one that was made in UK, if I'm not wrong. There was a docuseries that was released in UK.
I have no idea.
I'm just wondering, because if they're not going to use actors and they're going to use quote filings or quote
the whole thing was
publicly
there.
available videos, it's like everybody's seen that already. Like, what are you going to give us new? If not new actors or writers or anything, no.
Smitty said Johnny Depp played by Johnny Depp and Amber played by Danny DeVito. Oh god. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract so much. It just like popped into my brain. Please continue.
It's not hireable anymore. You can't.
Okay.
That's true.
Anymore.
Yeah.
So longer term, I mean, this long term, and in the order of 100,000-ish years, this killer volcano is going to become the big Mauna Loa, the big long mountain, right? It'll eventually be that way. So it will erupt. It will get going more. But in the short term, the Halemaumau Lake will have a harder and harder time to go up because it's got to get wider and wider material, and it might.
And it's also getting more dense, right?
Draining.
The material's gonna get more dense in there. So it would. Yeah. So that's why I said couple of years, not because the previous levels that rose were like within a year or 12 months or so. So I'm saying the next cycle of the lava rising up will be minimum couple of years. Yeah, so around 2025.
And remember, we had this eruptive vent up on the side, right? This was up on the side flowing in. So it was up over here, right? So the magma had a hard time going through this big block of stuff, somewhat soft, and kind of
found a way on the edges.
Side, and came out.
And then melted it
towards
down.
the end. And it started to flow in just fine, and all of a sudden just said, "Oh, I'm done," and stopped.
Take a break.
So
you got Maanyaa.
That was so like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of here.
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing with my roommates this week. I'm done. I'm not walking away from this.
You left the rotten bananas out. I'm so.
I am Pele in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring me whiskey if you want to pacify me about the bananas.
So people ask again, how long before the lava gets wider into the caldera region, and there's a question about, it'll take a lot more eruptions occurring. It'll be even harder for the magma to work its way through this stuff off to the side. If it keeps going up this way, it might find that it'll reopen these tubes and start coming along the side of 1969, 1970.
So you might need to scroll
famous
up a little bit.
Up. Yeah. It's like we have been studying this volcano for like so long. Now that we know like this whole scenario is like, oh yeah, this volcano is active, right? So it's not like, oh yeah, it's just the lava level rising. Yeah, okay, whatever. This is a simple phenomenon happening. No. This volcano is active as the Madam Pele is like, notice me. I'm sitting here in this corner. You dare ignore me, because you know what happens when you ignore me. So
respect.
Yes, and half of the time in the history of humans recording events on the island, about half the time the volcano is erupting. Right? It's had long periods of stretches of nothing, stretches of something, but on average, over a long period of time, about half the time, lava is coming out. So we see that the mountain's expanding, right? That's because stuff is pushing up, right? Yeah. Stuff is pushing up into this area. It towards the end, it worked its way up to the side and came out on the side here. So when it re-erupts, will it break through the top? Will it go to the side, or will it decide, screw this, and head down the southwest rift zone? There is some spectacular footage of the 69, 70 eruptions where they had these long curtains of lava fountains, and if you drive down the Chain of Crater Road, Big Island in Hawaii is open, so you won't run into the problems like you have over in Maui. But if you take the Chanticleers Road, you will drive through amazing rock structures from that eruption. It's been a while since it's gone down the Southwest Rift Zone, but that may be, if you talk about that once the magma starts moving away from the summit, my guess is it's going to be perhaps easier for it to go in the Southwest Rift Zone, but it could just easily head down the East Rift Zone as well. Remember, around where this says Rift Zone here in that line, that was the Pu'u'o'o event, where for almost 35 years it poured lava into the sea, and there's a big bump here on the island that came from that event. So
for how many years?
Would it do that? 35 years. It started on
35 years
January
it kept
4th.
dumping lava.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that area, and it was a marvelous to go back there, let's say twice a year and see the island changing in size. It had 4 cubic kilometers of lava came out of that vent.
That's a lot.
From from January 4th, 1983. That's
a long amount.
Yes, long. That's it. And yeah, that's a lot of stuff. It was the odd thing of how it ended. And again, this is that Madam Pele, sometimes so unpredictable, that the Pu'o vent collapsed. It fell in nearly 500 meters. The thing just plunged in, and people thought, okay, that's done.
Madam
Pele was still have a small lava lake up at the top, right? There was a tiny lava lake that was up here in this region that was not fountaining, but was just sitting there. And Bill thought, okay, it's because it was going down the side of the mountain and draining out. When that drain collapsed, we thought, okay, pressure is going to build up, is going to come out on top. And what did it do? Well, no. What the magma did was force its way down the spine, underneath the collapsed Pu'o, and all the way out to the end of the island, where in a course of several weeks, a cubic kilometer of magma turned into lava and poured out in the ocean. You saw the vacation homes being devastated. In fact, it drained so fast that summit collapsed. This drop-down block used to be level from here over to here, fairly level. It fell in to create this giant pit. It went from this sort of yellow orange line down to here. That was the result of that cubic kilometer of magma going all the way down to the end and dumping out on the side. It was quite a bit of stuff. So it could easily resurface, right? If the main event collapses and the magma goes underneath it, well, what else can magma do? Again, it's unlikely that it'll go off spine because that's where the cracks are, sort of Shiva Mountains. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's look at some
fluid dynamics.
Other data coming in. It is amazing to see how fast particular life goes back to these devastated areas. So this is we'll see this gentleman doing field measurements out here for stuff, and you can see this was a region that had this flow over here was in 1991. This was a flow area around in 83, and you can see plants start growing right. Yep. From here you see basic stuff, and even soil beginning to do things. I mean, there's some spots here. This was later on, probably 2008 over here, but you can see in the 91 flows, there's now sizable plants and things that are growing.
This is one of those things that I find like a little bit silly, right? Where it's just like, oh, how could life have possibly happened? Like, oh my god, and it's like life doesn't fucking stop. Like it's just like it's there now. It finds a way. Like what?
And it's incredibly rich material birds drop things, seeds blow in, and add water, and you get your life sprouting, right? And so the rich
and the
volcanic
soil is
soils,
so rich.
That literally happened in my backyard. I had a pot that I would that had pot in it, and it was growing. And some bird on the roof decided to drop a bunch of seeds it was eating. It was sunflower seeds, and then suddenly my pot full of pot had a bunch of sunflowers in it, and I was like, well, now I have to separate all these sunflowers from this pot. With pot.
Yeah. Nature doing its
but you
thing.
can see,
You're trying to ruin my pot.
how fast. And some of these spots here, this is a little further in there. Some of these spots are getting to be quite rich. This was not. This area here was one of the islands. When lava flows down, sometimes there's a bump where the island lava will go around and create these little islands. This is one of the islands that was there. But this area here, you can see how the plants begin to grow. It starts with bacteria breaking down the rock, creating a little bit of soil. Seed grows, plants start moving, cracking the rock, and takes off.
I
So
have a
life really
question.
does. Sure.
I saw a helicopter in the background. Landon, how many times do you get to ride a helicopter in a week or a month?
Frequently. Well, I usually, when I'm there, we go out in a helicopter
Maanyaa, Landon's just like, what do you mean? That's my main method of travel.
Walking over this rock is really hard. This is glass rock stuff. It is prime for falling, cutting yourself up. So you're broad.
Do you wear steel cap boots, or do you just wear your regular boots, or do you wear?
Maanyaa, stop working on stream, for fuck's sake.
Hey,
every time we do
come
this
on!
show.
I'm asking about the research they're doing for research purposes. Come on.
You're asking about his safety shoes.
But he's wearing one in the picture. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. You be sure you have the right material. And it does. I mean, it gets really easier here for the older stuff. Where you have some sort of rock soil type things. Over here, it gets to be very difficult because also the horizontal distance is up and down, up and down, up and down. So you're better off.
Yeah, it's
flying.
safer and more efficient.
Yeah. There is, I'll put a link in here. There is a very interesting article talking about the insights and the 2018 eruption. They're talking about the end of the 35-year eruption, the end of the stuff where they had a magnitude 7 earthquake and the collapse and so forth.
You're gonna need to zoom that one in.
New data. So this is just showing a paper that
it doesn't want to zoom in. Noted. Never mind then.
Download a PDF where if you has a bunch of some material. So it's a sort of summary of that sort of thing. So earthquakes. There are earthquakes.
Ah.
So earthquakes will return was one of the things I predicted. So here we're looking at the age, right? Yellow is the last week. Orange is the last day, red is the last hour, and these are not big things, right? They're like 1.8, 1.6. I mean, if you look at the magnitudes here, they're tiny. You would be lucky to measure that. Now we had this thing off in Japan but if you talk about for just the earthquakes on this map, whoops.
What happened here?
We lost. Let me go back to finding the island again.
The map got confused. It was like, what is going on here? Oh my god.
Here we have. Let's see if we can find the island. It's going to be over here.
Where is it? Find Waldo Island. Find the island. Find Waldo.
There it is. Let's go back up to here. All right. Here we go. That's Maui over here, but let's go zoom into the big island. And so we just talked about this thing. The earthquakes here in this island are island are fairly small.
This is like my computer trying to load wingdings last night.
Here is the seamount, and there's a little earthquakes down there. But if you look at this spot here, and we look at this is now showing what we're showing here is the depth, right? And these depths are pretty
near the surface.
Pretty low, yeah, pretty near. Well, actually, these are actually relatively deep, right?
The orange ones.
Yeah. If we look at the depth here, so we're this again. This is the magma comes up this area and heads either towards Mauna Loa or Kilauea. So these things are relatively shallow up here near the summit, and these things are fairly deep. This is the magma coming up to the general area. So yeah, this is what it looks like at the moment. Go to visit
wow.
Camera and see beautiful. This is sort of what it looks like. You know, there's
pictures are so cool.
This was a side vent here that flowed in, a little side vent. There's the spot where if it gets up a little higher, it'll start flooding this area, but it's got to go about 200 meters before it gets over this area here. And again, at some point, this lake's going to become a cap, and the magma will decide a different way to go. But there's still a bit of outgassing of stuff, sort of cooling. The trade winds essentially send the gas down the usual directions. Here's a live shot. What it looks like. This was that side vent that poured down here. Here we go.
It's
some other spots.
Yeah, it's fascinating, like how much it has expanded since we started covering.
Yeah.
This volcano, right? Before we could see it in one camera shot, the whole thing. Now you can't. You have to like sweep around to see the whole thing, the whole lake, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, and eventually it's going to get over to that other area, or at some point the magma will say, "Why do I keep trying to go up when I can go to the side?" But then the question is, does it go to that side, or does it go to the other side, or something else?
Who knows? Not enough information to tell.
So you could walk.
All it takes is like one fissure from the earthquake for it to go a whole other direction.
Yeah, and moving this area here as it starts flooding this area is going to take more and more material just to get into this region here. Meanwhile, it'll provide even more and more of a cap resistance of magma coming up. But you could land a helicopter in here and walk around. You need a gas mask, but
I want somebody to take like one of these videos and just put like Pokemon inside of them. Like
well, the lava type.
So there's like a Magmar running around and maybe some Charmander and like a Growlithe or two. You know what I mean? Like just hanging out in the fire. And, like then you could do like one like because there's like right we've got Google Earth all over the place. It would just be a lot of fun.
Charizard just floating around on his bed doing the backstrokes. Yeah.
I do not recommend playing Pokemon Go down in this area. This is probably
but there's a Pokestop down there. Thierry in the chat.
Oh my god.
Thierry in the chat said sure.
Oh, Landon, can you do that next time you're around that area? Just download Pokemon Go and see if there's a Pokestop.
There's no way. There's no way.
I bet you there's one. I bet you there will be one.
Yeah, okay, listen, if my old
Landon, please.
If my old workplace in like the district, like the industrial area of the city is a dead zone, that fucking volcano better goddamn well be a dead zone. If that's not a dead zone and my workplace was, I'm gonna be pissed.
Landon, can you do that? Landon, can you do that?
Yeah,
Can you check it out when you're there next time?
See, I guess I can try to download something.
I'm gonna use this fancy satellite phone connection that's very special and for very particular things to get Pokemon Glow in a volcano.
We have to do this experiment. Come on.
The memes.
By the way, as I understand those games, there was a similar ingress, was a similar type of thing, are very data intensive, and so it's very slow over satellite links and relatively expensive. But who knows? Other people might do that. They also discourage people from having drones. I don't know. That was the thing those games had to deal with, was to allow people with drones to fly over and.
I imagine with like a special permit, you'd be allowed to like film, but you'd have to like
depending
the
on
proper
what
channels.
you need the footage for. Yeah,
porn.
As I understand, the national park tells visitors drones are not allowed. Right? You will not find drones flying around unless there's a very specific program, and then they try to limit the drone access to not annoy people. Otherwise, this place would be overrun with all kinds of drones and people flying drones out, getting lost, and littering.
People are already problematic enough. We don't need to get them an excuse to be more problematic.
Have you seen like influencers, like they find one good place on this planet Earth and then they rush there to do photography and then they destroy the whole place? Like just trot upon it, and you're like, can you not stay at a distance and just enjoy the beauty? You have to be in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So these spots down here are going to be pretty interesting to go to. That has you see sulfur, but also other minerals. But this is part of the outgassing that deposits minerals here, which would be it. But I'm presuming that lava will cover this over, so we won't be able to see that. But at some point, lava will stop covering it for long enough for people to walk out there. But until then, it is doing what it's doing. So there you have it. Kilauea is not erupting. There are earthquakes beginning, and they've actually been going on for a couple of weeks now. Solar earthquakes underneath it, but no deflation and ablation events. The mountain is expanding and tilting. So there's pressure underneath, but it's not. You don't have a magma chamber.
Pele's doing her League of Legends placements.
Yes, grinding away at its rock.
Emerald or platinum?
Items.
Wood division.
How does it start? Does it start with emerald or platinum?
No. It goes
diamond,
wood, iron. Sorry, wood, bronze.
Yeah.
No. Right, sorry. Wood only exists in one of the joke ones. It would be bronze, silver, gold, platinum, emerald, diamond master, I think. Or diamond, yeah. Diamond.
There's no iron? There's no iron in there?
Iron's the lowest one. Iron, bronze. Yeah, and then they added wood division for a joke.
Yeah!
So anyway, that's the thing. So it's not erupting. Gas levels are very low. This is just outgassing of old lava. There are earthquakes underneath that were resumed the last couple of weeks. The mountain is expanding, but we don't see deflation and ablation events that was suggesting of a magma chamber with turnover. So
nice. Come back, Landon.
What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen, Alan? Let me undo this.
Yeah.
So what do you think will happen next?
I have no good goddamn clue. I honestly say I have no idea. No clue. I got nothing. No idea.
I'm gonna say it's gonna stay the same. It will keep climbing up as we saw, but it will stay the same. Like gas levels will be the same, around 121 tons or 110 tons a day.
Yep.
And Pele is like, yeah, you got too much shit going on around here anyway, so I'm just gonna let you relax.
So I think I'm predicting that we will still have moderate levels of earthquakes underneath the summit. We will begin to see inflation events. They'll be weak, but it won't be like this, right? This deforming stuff, there's no DI stuff there. We'll actually see some real DI events starting up over the next, because this is about a month's worth of time. So I'm predicting the next month over here, there'll be some DI events that'll be irregular, but they'll be there. Not just a couple of weak ones there. So
what were you talking about, the earthquakes?
Yeah, he was saying.
I think the earthquakes will have, there'll be a pile of earthquakes in the summit.
Do we have a question in the chat.
Went right over my head. What did you say?
So
the earthquakes will what?
Okay. There will be a pile of earthquakes in the summit area, like this sort of thing. Okay. This was, there are. If we look in this, look at this region here. Let's zoom in on the summit region. It's too zoomed in. There's 33. There are 33 earthquakes in the last week. So of 30 earthquakes and a week will be kind of the normal.
I want to see it. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna slow down a little bit, but not too much. See a little bit of deflation, with maybe a little bit of bubbly, but that's about it.
Yeah, gas will be low, but so Chesh, you say that by deflation, are you talking about this line will be going down instead of up?
Just like a little blip. Yeah,
blip.
Oh, there'll be wigglies there, but
little wiggle.
What about this?
Down.
What about the GPS line here? Do you think this will go up? Can you go up?
Which, can I see it again?
What are you looking at?
So I can see which one you're looking at.
Oh, sorry. Let me move over. Trademark Canada. Here we go. So you think this line that the GPS told me, will that continue to go up?
Yeah. So you see where it jogs downwards just a little bit beforehand. I think we're gonna see something like that again, but not as drastic.
More like one of these kind of.
Yeah, one of the littler ones. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that I'm predicting that it will continue to expand. Expand in a line.
I'm just out here being like, it's gonna drop like a rock all the way down. The whole thing's just gonna.
Reason why I'll do that because this kind of this kind of event is a result of an eruption starting where it goes bang and the eruption bleeds out. But you're talking about just a little. They'll be kind of going up and down like this sort of thing.
It's not going to be a full. It's not going to be a full on eruption, but I think we're going to see some release.
And you think that the tilt meter will be going, up and down as opposed to just.
Yeah, because it's being pretty steady right now. So I think we're gonna see like some more wiggles.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you if we're actually getting a couple of inflation events over the next month. It won't be just a general expansion. So continued earthquakes at the summit. Couple dozen a week. Continued some deflation events occurring in the next month, and the size of the volcano will expand.
We have a question from the chat, Landon.
Oh.
Yes. The Icelandic volcano. Apparently, it's been rather active recently. Thoughts?
Yeah, that Reykjavik Peninsula has been quite active. It's nice because it's not an area that has lots of glacial stuff, so you won't have the lahar type nasty things that happen when ice and lava mix. That tends to be bad. It's been relatively active over there. Geothermal wise, it's the island has lots of geothermal events because the one thing volcanic systems help create geothermal opportunities, but they also destroy them.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Remember at the very south east corner of the island was the Big Island's big geothermal plant, which got a little bit too thermal to geopower. So they'll have to have that stuff cool down for a while before they can sink stuff in and begin to make use of it, or decide to put geothermal plants someplace else. But yeah, the Icelandic volcanoes, Iceland's pretty active for things. I mean, in terms of in terms of the general area, we should see, because I was looking at the volcanoes, the volcano list here, active volcano count. In a moment, 48 erupting volcanoes at the moment. And I believe if we look at what Iceland is doing, where is Iceland? Iceland's going to be over here. So Indonesia has 7 erupting volcanoes now.
Oh wow!
But Iceland is. Let me stop sharing here. Iceland, I think, has got currently 1 going on.
Cool.
Actually, it is. Well, currently, it is actually no. Actually, that particular volcano only has minor activity right now. It's not.
Ooh, he's sneaky.
So it has slowed down a bit for the one, but the question is the other one there? Let me look and see from my friend that has had it operate. He's having problems with his live camera because people hike up to it and stand in front of it and take selfies, and he's getting kind of annoyed.
Oh God! There we go. There we go. Interfering with scientific research, assholes. Get out of the way of the camera, guys! For fuck's sake.
You'd think as influencers and people who take pictures like that, they would know to stay out of the way of other people taking pictures.
I think so. That's why they stand in front of the camera, because that's the best angle to see everything, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh yeah, like I'll stand here and put my camera instead of like that camera, like, block it with my butt.
Look at me.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking for the set here.
Becky,
so
look at her butt.
So is it actually? I'm trying to find if it actually is erupting at the moment. That the data suggests the live pictures does not show it as erupting at the moment.
It was, I think so. It's not now.
Yeah.
Settled down.
It was like a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. And we know how fast or slow these events can be.
Yeah. 0 cubic meters per second.
I swear to God, if we get off a stream today, because we only got like a couple more minutes. If we get off a stream today and the mountain explodes again, I'm be so mad.
I think so. Pele is like watching us, and she's like, okay,
they're off. Let's go.
Stop. All right, let's go, baby.
Have you captured our predictions that will become that Pele will laugh at?
Yeah. So Sheshva said no idea, no clue. But then she said it will slow down a little bit, but not so much. Will be bubbly, little bit wiggly.
The bubblies.
Some release. There will be some release. So it will be
shimmy.
There will be wiggles. And so for the GPS, she said there will be a little dip, but not drastic. Yeah. And Landon said deflation, inflation events will continue. There will be some real ones, and will be irregular. And the
so a few real ones.
Yeah. The volcano will continue to expand with a pile of earthquakes in the summit area. Is that correct?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And of course,
I said just it will stay the same.
Low gas rates.
Right? Yeah. What did you say? Gas rates? Sorry.
Will continue to be low.
All right.
I am here.
You said gas rates are low, but you say it's going to be basically what happened last month is going to happen in the next month, and be much of the same.
Yeah, it's like Haley's like, yeah, I'm gonna relax for a while. You got shit going on anyways.
Yes.
She's a very considerate lady. She is.
Yeah,
listen.
But,
all right, so we should start wrapping up here. Landon, what do you got going on? Where are you gonna be?
Well, I'm going to be going to Canada for some sushi.
For sushi?
A gas station.
Canada's well known for its sushi.
Yes.
Canada's well known for its gas station sushi.
Yes, actually, there are places that have quite a bit of so the locals go and frequent this place. But it is they have good stuff. So I'll do that. We have the Unnamed Tavern coming up, as I recall.
We do. Yes. I have a new phone, so I don't know what date that's.
When is that?
When is that?
When is that Unnamed Tavern?
That's a thing we're supposed to do. I don't think we did that. Did we do that? I don't think we wrote that down.
I think so. We did. I think so. And then I deleted it from my.
Oh no!
No.
Does anyone know?
Oh no.
I think it's on my other phone. I can go check it later. It's later on this month. It's not this Saturday. It might be next Saturday or the Saturday after.
Yeah.
Saturday coming up, but not tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking around.
Saturday.
I'm looking around for there is a Saturday or Sunday for that, and see if I can find anything within the scheduling of. Yeah, we gotta figure that. Gotta figure it out.
I'm gonna yell in our Discord and be like, yo, when we doing the next show? Lol.
Yeah, I think
XD.
I think we yeah. Well, we'll have a tavern because I think there's things happening in the world of stuff.
In the world of stuff and things and people and politics and tech and nonsense and
more indictments came up for Trump, isn't it? The list is just going on.
More indictments. There's this everything. Florida's trying to apparently now getting rid of Romeo and Juliet because it alludes too much to sex.
Gonna
get rid of Shakespeare. Oh God! All right.
Oh dear.
We're gonna be back soon for that. And what else you doing, Landon? Anything else?
Well, I'll say so we're a lot of nice some programming projects, open source projects, and then we'll be celebrating the 12 successful years of the Tetra cluster, which is shutting down in December. But it had a good run, and it's time to turn those pooters off. So that'll be a nice thing. But there are lots of people, lots of PhDs, lots of stuff that came out of it. So we're celebrating. It's positive.
Yeah.
So
my
the going forward.
Earbud fell out and it magneted itself to my.
Excellent.
Sorry,
and yourself, Maanyaa, Chesh?
Yeah, what's going on, Maanyaa?
We have our Dump Fact Friday tomorrow, actually.
Yes.
Because I need to finish an assignment today, so I'm like, can I get a break?
Yes.
So
we got that coming, and Abby is joining us because it is Barbie month.
Yes, it's the Barbie month.
You get to talk about the Barbie
pink and
movie.
Barbie it can get.
I made a whole new layout. Yes.
I will. So you're telling me that I don't have to go to the movie. I can just listen to your DFF thing and get the gist of.
Yes, but you should also
what
go
the
see
whole
the
craze is
movie
about.
because it's very good and very funny.
Okay.
It's very funny. I actually it's been a long time since I sat in a theater and actually laughed out loud and enjoyed a movie so much. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the D&D movie.
Was the D&D movie worth seeing, or is that just I get it on a streaming service?
Yeah, it was. It didn't. It doesn't need to be full screen. You're just gonna you'll enjoy it just as much catching it on cable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It doesn't require the big surround sound stuff, and it's pretty straightforward.
I just made a note. Shesh enjoyed. Yeah, I made a note. Shesh enjoyed Barbie movie more than the D&D movie.
Yeah, fact. It's very well written. It's very funny.
So will your DFF be spoilers, or are there really spoilers? Is that a movie that's spoiler, right? Oppenheimer, guess what? The bomb goes off, right?
Oh yeah, Barbie spoilers. I mean, it's.
I think so. We're trying to look at other people's perspectives, people who are on the other side of the line, because we're covering Ben Shapiro's, summary of it, right?
I think there's gonna be spoilers because I think there's spoilers in the videos we're watching. Because we're not really going to be talking about the movie so much as we're going to be laughing at very angry conservative talking heads that are mad about it for
that are
no
going
reason.
mad.
So has Jordan Peterson weighed in on the Barbie thing? Is that something?
I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did, but I don't know if he made a video about it. Hold on, Jordan.
I'm sure he might have just done a brief 5-minute segment on it. Somewhere.
Oh my god, I found a Reddit thread that says, would anybody else like Peterson to review the Barbie movie? Just came out of the cinema having watched the new Barbie movie, being pleasantly surprised, expected it to be complete toxic feminist propaganda, and there were some elements of it that on the surface, to be fair, but underneath that I felt the story portrayed some genuine observations of the real world and aspects of human psychology, the effect of the female gaze on men, consequences of living in an infantile dream world, the idea of Barbie and the positive and negative effects on women, etc., as well as dipped its toes into exploring the topic of consequences and ending on a positive message of healthy self-acceptance and growth of character. Have I completely lost my mind? Did I miss the whole point? Anyway, would be hilarious to see Jordan Peterson review with a pink shirt on.
Oh god. With a pink shirt and a pink flip, maybe.
It's very
with
funny.
Cat ears.
I have not seen a media franchise be so willing to take the piss out of themselves so well.
That's a good
yeah.
thing. Yes.
And actually self-reflect about the effects that their industry, that company's industry, has had on overarching society. From an observation standpoint, not a bias of buy more Barbies.
So would Governor
really nice.
Florida Man like or hate the movie? It is.
Governor Florida Man would shit a brick no matter what you show him. All right, yes. We should get on out of here.
Well,
We will be live tomorrow to talk about whatever Ben Shapiro decided to say. Abby is going to be joining us. Abby from That Time of the Month. That's going to be fun. Maanyaa will be there. I will be there. So it's Dumb Fact Friday on Saturday. We will also be doing more Barbie movie stuff the subsequent Fridays. Because that's what we're doing! And it's going to be super fun.
Barbie month, baby!
All gonna get out of here. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss whenever we do the tavern, and Dapper will be there for that. So, we are gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us, and if you would like to help out, please make sure to check the links down below to help out in Maui, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
Bye.